万门大学的小伙伴们大家好我是蓝斐利博士我今天很荣幸给你介绍Dr. Bob Wright Light 博士是关于个人成长的一个专家。我当时去找莱特博士的一个很大的原因，是因为我要更自信。我去之前，我母亲认识Light 博士，她跟我说，Light 博士其实会让你知道自信其实并不重要更重要的是你对自己的爱。我当时不相信，我去找Light博士，确实是，他说自信干嘛的？有重要吗？这个有意义吗？后来我真的想了，觉得其实自信对我的生活影响不是特别大，而且我发现周围的人越自信，其实越有问题，越有矛盾。跟Light博士学习，我发现其实更重要的是相信我自己，去成长，去找更好的自己。在这次视频，你会看Light博士讲怎么意识到自己的潜能，怎么去追求自己的梦想。
Self-confidence versus self-efficacy. Which do you think is better? If I had a room of 100 people here, and I asked who wanted self-confidence or self-efficacy, almost everyone would raise their hand that they wanted self-confidence. In large part because they don't know what self-efficacy is. But the problem with self-confidence is, in my opinion, it's always what the other person seems to have that you don't have. I work with many people who appear to be self-confident. They speak to thousands of people. They lead global businesses. They're not self-confident. They're prepared. They're good at what they do. Self-confidence disempowers people. One of my biggest concerns in coaching and educating people is that they think they're supposed to look self-confident. What we're interested in is them feeling like they are real. What does that mean? Feeling like they're real. So they know what they're feeling inside. And other people know what they're feeling. And other people can feel them. They can put their feelings out. We call this social emotional intelligence. When you know what's going on inside, and when you can read what's going on with other people, and if you can influence what's going on with other people, and you can read what's going on with other people, you have social emotional intelligence. And so you will become more efficacious. You will become more effective with others. And there's deep research behind this. Richard Bandura and Carol Dweck have shown that self-efficacy is way more important in your happiness in life than self-confidence. So one of the first things for you to understand is you don't have to look like anybody else. It's not about looking like another person. It's not about appearing confident, like you have it all together. That may not be your personality. Your personality may be warm. It may be friendly. Your personality may be kind of fun and upbeat, or you may be a very stern, straightforward sort of person. There is no such thing as self-confidence. What there is you being able to trust yourself to be effective. I'm going to tell you a story. Technology director came in to see me. He had been in technology for 20 years. He ate lunch alone. He was a project manager, and he was very, very afraid of being judged by other people. That's one of the biggest problems out there, is people are afraid of being judged. They're afraid they'll look bad. And he was so afraid of being judged and looking bad that he only left his desk when he absolutely had to. And he came in and started doing some of the training at the Wright Foundation. And one of the first things he had to learn how to do was to identify what he was feeling inside. When he learned how to say that he was afraid, then he was able to start facing that fear. He started asking people to join him for lunch. And today, we're several years later, he's proud to say if you want to have lunch with him, he has a 6-week schedule that's filled, and you won't be able to see him until the 7th week. But how does that happen? First of all, he had to tell the truth that he was afraid. Most of us go that far. We know we're afraid. But then he had to actually challenge that fear. He had to name it to tame it, is a term that we use. Name it to tame it. So he learned to say, hey, I'm afraid, but then he would say, oh, what am I afraid of? Well, worst thing is somebody will say, no, they won't go to lunch with me. So he took a chance, and to his surprise, the first 3 people he invited to lunch said, yes, I'd love to go to lunch with you. He faced his fear, he went out, he talked to people, and he asked people. He became so good at his social emotional intelligence. Now, he's a techie who sat at his desk, did not talk to other people. He's what we call an analyzer. His whole world was facts, and his life was about avoiding mistakes. He started learning about fear and hurt and anger and sadness and joy, and he started discovering that other people have feelings too, but they didn't know how to talk about those or relate to those either. Then he started the Wright Graduate University, where in every one of our courses in transformational leadership and coaching, he had to coach other people one-to-one. If you want to start feeling more self-effective, help other people become more effective. Tell them the truth about you. You don't have to fake it. So he started learning how to coach others. Then he learned how to lead seminars and lead groups. And he worked with a company that had almost 200,000 employees. And the Human Resources Department found out that he was teaching seminars on social emotional intelligence. He was terrified when they asked him to come to their office. He thought that he was in trouble, that as a techie, he had no right to be teaching social emotional intelligence. By the way, this is the most important element of career success by current research for everyone other than someone working on an assembly line. Doesn't seem to make a difference there. The higher up you go in a company, the more important it is, to the point where it's estimated that 85% of a CEO's success is social emotional intelligence. Middle managers, 30 to 50% of your success is your ability to know what's going on inside of you, what's going on inside of others. And that all starts with the one thing you can do today is to tell the truth about a fear that you have and face that fear. So his story goes on. When they called him to the office, they asked him to start teaching the seminar to them. And next thing you know, this techie who sat alone at lunch is teaching social emotional intelligence seminars to people all over his office in Chicago. But the story doesn't stop there, because when they had their national convention and 300 of the top human resource executives in the country were coming to Chicago for a meeting, Human Resource Department asked him to deliver the keynote address. He was afraid of that, and he said, I think you should ask my professors to do that. And so Dr. Judith Wright and I delivered the keynote address, and we were called their partner in developing human potential. But he still trained over 200 of the 300 people at that convention. Self-efficacy is a skill. It's a skill of knowing what's going on inside. It's a skill of being able to see what's going on inside of others. It's a skill of being honest. It's a skill of risking, facing fear, and getting stronger and stronger. Just think about the social skills that he developed and the social skills that you can develop as you start telling the truth about your fear. And if you really want to develop, find some other people who will tell the truth about their fear, and the two of you can practice together, facing your fears, going out into the world, getting stronger, and developing the strength of your social emotional intelligence muscles.